Hey, everybody. So during this time of COVID-19, and there's been so many challenges for people, I know I just talked to a couple from Madison, Wisconsin, and they were telling me that 40 businesses in Madison have closed their doors forever, probably forever, because first COVID hit and then the riots hit. And so it's really easy at that time for people to lose hope, When you lose your business or your lifelong dream, it's very simple and easy to drop down to hope, not have any hope. But once we lose hope, there's helplessness. There's nothing. We become victims of our own thought process, victims that we're fallen, and we tend to blame other people, right? So a victim is anybody who blames other people, circumstances, or events for why they are where they are. And certainly easy to do. It's certainly easy to say, well, first COVID and now it's the riots, and so this is not my fault. And there's truth to that. Like, neither were your fault. But if you remain in that space without hope, that is your fault, right? I mean, you can grieve, you can be angry, you can be upset, and all those things are normal. But once you stay in that place where you feel hopelessness and you feel helplessness, you truly become a victim because there's no path out of it. So many people would say, well, how do I have hope when everything seems to be so harsh and everything seems to be so hard? How do I get to hope? Well, hope is powered by gratitude. And you may say, well, wait a second, like nothing good has happened to me. Nothing good has happened to me. How can I reach for gratitude right now? How can I even get to gratitude? It doesn't feel like there's any chance to even get to gratitude. Everything bad has happened to me. Well, without gratitude, we lose all sense of hope. And so it's the reaching of gratitude. It's reaching toward gratitude. It's finding something to be grateful for. And I was listening to a podcast about from Oprah Winfrey, who of course I adore, right? I mean, who can't adore somebody who's made themselves into something so beautiful, soulful, willing to reach out to other people, willing to give financially and in many other ways. But I was listening to her, and one of the things that Oprah said was that she writes a gratitude journal every night. And she said, every single night I write five things I'm grateful for every night. And some of you may say, well, that's Oprah. She's got billions of dollars. She's going to be grateful for a lot of stuff. But she didn't start there. I mean, we always forget she didn't start there. She started very poor. And we forget that where people start, we want to say, but me, my circumstance is different, but me, we want to go into that victim mode, but me, right, which is victim mode, when we start saying it happened to me, and this is my story, and this is where I live, that's victim mode. But think of if you could find 5 things today. So when I read this, I thought, man, if Oprah can write 5, I'm gonna double. I'm gonna write 10. Like I'm gonna double what Oprah does, because I'm gonna be better than Oprah, which is kind of silly, but that's what I thought. And so the next day I thought, I'm gonna write 10 things I'm grateful for. And the funny thing is, it's easy to get to 3. 4 is okay. 5, you're stretching for it. And once I got to 5, I was like, wow, why would I have ever said 10? Why would I stretch myself to find 10? Because we don't look at things in terms of gratitude. We don't search for gratitude daily. We're too busy, way too busy, looking for things that are wrong, looking for things that are bad, looking for, the why me, God, why did this happen to me? And that kind of attitude, rather than searching for gratitude. So when I was searching for 10, and my challenge is not just to find 10, but 10 every day, 10 newbies. So I can't use the same ones over and over again. It's 10 newbies. 10 things I'm grateful for. Well, think about this. You're up for how many hours in a day? 16, and you can't find 10 things you're grateful for? But if you look here's a great thing. When you look for things that you're grateful for, you find them. When you look for things you're grateful for, you will find them. You can reach for them, you'll find them. As soon as you start changing that energy, when you change your energy toward better things come to you. Because where your attention flows, energy goes. Where your attention flows, energy goes. So where are you placing your attention? And the more grateful you are, it's a switch, right? I have a friend of mine who wrote a book, I think he called it The Gratitude Switch. He talks about how you can just like literally flip that switch, boom, and something will change. Well, we can't have hope when we're looking in despair, right? So you have to change into that to gratitude. And some of you are like, man, life is too hard. Why should I be grateful? And I hit this. I had this very same thing. I hit this energetic level once where I developed chronic pain. And so in the midst of chronic pain where everything was horrible, I mean, I couldn't, my career had suffered. I was a winning basketball coach. I'd won a national championship. I've been in the national tournament 5 times in a row. I had a record of 139 wins and 20 losses. And then I changed jobs. At the same time that I changed jobs, I developed chronic pain. Well, the chronic pain was so harsh, I couldn't sit, stand, or walk without pain. So if you could live at an intensity level from 1 to 10, and I was living at 8, 9, and 10 daily, that's the kind of pain I was in daily. So, if you've ever had an injury, if you've ever, broken a finger or broken a toe or broken a limb, and at that moment you broke it, the pain that ensued, that's the level of pain I was living at. And then to try to reach from gratitude to gratitude there, at the same time, when I was not able to coach, so my coaching suffered. In fact, for 5 years, I went from being this national championship coach to a coach who could not have a winning season for 5 years, not one winning season in 5 years. And at the same time, I was suffering this incredible pain. Well, did I get to hopelessness? Yes. Did I feel helpless? Yes. Was I grateful for anything that happened to me? No. No way was I going to step into gratitude at that time. There's no possible way that I could feel gratitude for the things that were occurring. How can I feel grateful for that? And what happened is I plummeted. And so my energy went, right? I plummeted. Well, where your attention flows, your energy goes. I had no hope. I was hopeless. I thought my career was over. I thought my life was over. I didn't feel grateful for anything. But if you fast forward in my life, if you fast forward that moment, and if you could fast forward 10 years beyond the moment, because at that moment, I didn't know how to have gratitude for what was occurring. But if you could fast forward 10 years later and looking back and knowing that that moment was the moment of the greatest time of my life, because it was the moment that I learned to look deeper. It was the moment that I learned about unconditional love. It was the moment that I learned about unconditional forgiveness. It was that opportunity for me to step into something that I did not know. And it was the start of my journey. It was the start of a long journey. But if I wouldn't have had that moment, I wouldn't have reached for those things. I wouldn't have had that to look for those necessary things. So at that time, I didn't know to be grateful. I couldn't see what was occurring. I had no idea that moment was the life-changing moment that was going to change me forever. It was going to give me something I didn't know. I didn't know at the moment what unconditional love was. I did not know about forgiveness and self-forgiveness. I did not know those things. But it was the moment that journey started for me. So if I could have been more grateful, the journey would have been so much easier, because I'd have been so much more hopeful about a better outcome. I would have lived in a different space. So now when things happen to me, I know that the moment is the stepping stone of something greater. And so I can start to be grateful for what's about to occur. I can be grateful for the moment. I can be grateful that something is occurring right now. Some journey is starting right now that is going to end so beautifully that I could not have imagined it. This is opportunity. Let me step into gratitude right now, because gratitude is an energy, and we live in energy. Like our body's an energy at our most basic level. When you go down to below the atom, what scientists have discovered is that we're energy. So the energy we emit is important. So if you're living at the lowest energies that you could possibly live at, remember, if you think about that, attention flows where energy goes. Well, if your attention is at guilt, or your attention is at anger, it's a lower energy than gratitude. Gratitude is one of the highest energies you get. So my friend who wrote the book, flip the switch. Why? Because when you flip it, you're flipping your energy. And as you flip the energy, hope rises. Well, it's different when you're walking in hope than you're walking in this frustration and you're walking in disappointment. You cannot see. You have no potential to see what's happening. You can't see opportunity when you're living in a different space. So to power hope, you've got to start gratitude. And for some of you who maybe, lost a business, or some of you who are lost a job, and it's hard to see, how can I be grateful for this? Well, if you live in the knowledge, if you understand the knowledge that what is happening to you now is making you greater than you could ever have dreamed of. If you really know that, if you believe in that, and you start stepping into this higher energy, you will see possibilities, but you cannot see them at a lower energetic level. There's no possibility to see them. So create your gratitude journal. And if you can only think of one thing, write one thing down. If you can think of two, write two. If you want to really stretch yourself, go 5. If you're really want to stretch outside your comfort zone, go 10. So what I've learned to do is have my gratitude journal in the morning. Every morning I reflect on 10 things I'm grateful for. And the most amazing thing is I'm looking for things now. I'm looking every day. Oh my gosh, look at that flower. Look at how that is made. Smell it, feel it, touch it. It's gorgeous. Like I'm gonna walk by that flower how many times I never noticed it, never even seen it. So what happens is as the gratitude comes in, there's a different energy you meet the day with. You can't meet the day with an energy of frustration and expect to go somewhere with that. There's no energy to move forward, but gratitude gives you energy to move forward. It shifts all the things inside you, and you're looking for that. So I also did one more thing in my gratitude journal is I thought, well, what if I also wrote one miracle every day? What if I also wrote one miracle every day? What would that do? How would that shift things? Einstein, I believe it was Einstein who said that we choose to, there's two ways to look at the world. We can either look at the world believing that there are no miracles, or we can look at the world as if every day is a miracle, right? We can look at it as everything is a miracle. Everything is a miracle. Well, miracles happen every day, but we don't think of them as miracles, and we don't see them as miracles. Well, imagine how that changes the way you view the world. Look, if a miracle is just there, if I could step into it every day because it's there every day, if I can step into it, how's that change my energy? It's hard. If you've ever felt this, and most of us have, if you've ever felt like a loss that just sucked your heart, like your heart felt empty, it hurt, it sucked the energy, the life force from you. You felt that if you've gone through a divorce, or you've gone through the loss of a job, or you've had a health issue, if you've had that, you felt the life force almost leave you. And then you dragged yourself around from place to place, or maybe you couldn't even get out of bed because your energy level is so low. Look, you flip the switch. Start looking for gratitude, because that's where hope is. Start searching for gratitude, because hope lives in gratitude. How can you find it? You look for it. You become it. My dad, and I didn't notice this when I was growing up, and I only noticed it later, but he would say, I am so blessed. And he says it every day. I'm so blessed. The life I've had, I'm so blessed to have the life I've had. And his life has been a blessing. But he looks for it. He looks for it every day. Well, that's what we to tune ourselves to, is look for that gratitude, search for it, let that become a part of you. Let that become a part of what you do. Let it become your life force to have gratitude. And I know it's hard when you're like, but these things have happened, but this is where, yes, you stay in the energy, you're not going to find opportunity. Opportunity lies in the energy of hope. That's where it is. That's the presence of it. Look for it, search for it, make it a habit. Make it a habit. Make it become your habit. Be in it. This is the essence of it, right? So create that gratitude journal, or create the attitude of gratitude. You walk in it, and you're walking, and just go on this rampage of gratitude. Just start saying, I'm so thankful for, and look for things around you. I'm so thankful for, and look for them and say them until you just run out of them. Be in that moment, because that's where hope is born. That's where your energy becomes more. That's where you feel it. And then all of a sudden you believe it, and you know something good is around the corner. Well, if you know it, you start acting as if it's there. You see, you can't act on it if you don't believe it's there. That's where you start acting. So folks, I'm so glad to offer you this message. I'm so glad for the opportunity that I had to go through these incredible life experiences. because without those life experiences, I wouldn't know to search for gratitude. I wouldn't know that's where the energy is. So you can find me at Sherry@thewinningleadershipcompany.com, Sherry@thewinningleadershipcompany.com. You can email me there. And if you would like to have a free book, FREE, free book, yes, a free hardcover, not, yes, I know people are like, no, you really won't send it. Yes, I do, always. Anybody who asks, I'll give it to you. I have a free book for you. And the free book is called Burst. And it's a great book on eliminating your old, busting old patterns and creating new possibilities. If this is what the book looks like right there. Free, just send it to you, email me. You can find me there, and my website is www.thewinningleadershipcompany.com. And you might wonder why a person like me is talking about hope, because I'm about leading. Here's why I know, because you can't lead if you don't have hope, and you can't lead without gratitude. So please know, look, the greatest leaders are service leaders and they're servant leaders. And when you understand that from that position you come from hope, you understand you can't lead others without leading yourself, then you're never going to be that great leader. That's why I work with leaders, because they have so much impact on other people.